Alrighty, guys. Today we're gonna be reviewing this bouncer. All right, this guy works at a club and he's sharing some of his knowledge when it comes to women, when it comes to dating. So I want to give him a critique. Is the advice sound or is it full of shit? So we're gonna go through this. So this guy, I don't really know who he is, but advice sound or is it full of shit? So we're gonna go through. Probably works in nightlife. Looks like I'm just gonna guess Southern California, but he's gonna share some of his thoughts working as a bouncer.
This video, I'm going to talk about
He knows a lot about night game.
the brutal shit that I learned about women as a bouncer when I was working in the clubs for years. I would observe exactly what women would do, what they would react to, including my own experience when I would mess around with women and go clubbing myself. Okay, so I wrote down 20 things. This is going to be an in-depth video about the things that I learned about women, and I guarantee it's going to put you guys on some game. Okay, so the first thing is women actually cheat way more than men. The reason they cheat way more than men is because women have more options than men. A woman just has to step foot outside of her fucking house, let alone the club. As soon as she steps foot inside the club, she's going to leave that club with at least 3 to 4 guys that came up to her, with guys giving her number. And chances are she's going to take those options, entertain.
Okay, let's stop right there. So he's saying that women cheat more than men. I don't really know the data. Like, I don't know if it's really helpful to know this kind of information, whether or not women cheat more than men. What's more important is the woman that you're fucking with isn't cheating on you, right? So it's not so much what women do as a whole, it's what the women that you're talking to are doing, right? I would say on average, probably more women have access to, they don't have to try as hard, right? So I see this in Asia, I see this in Latin America. If you're a girl, you can go out to a club, and if you're mediocre looking, you'll get approach, right? So yeah, it doesn't take as much skill for a girl to meet guys, right? So that I agree with
them. Okay. And if she's a little sneaky, which most girls are nowadays, she's going to cheat. Okay. Women have way more accessibility to cheat than men. Okay. And that's something that was very obvious, especially early on. Okay. Women get guys coming up to them all the time in the nightclub. If your girlfriend goes to the clubs and she's telling you that she's just having fun with her friends, she's having multiple guys coming up to her every single night. Okay, I want you to think about that.
It's true.
What are the chances that one of those guys looks better than you? High chance, high probability. And that's actually important because I'm going to talk about that later on. So bottom line is women actually cheat way more than men, and you'll never find out if a woman is cheating or not. Trust me, you will never.
Okay. You want to be careful when guys speak in absolutes, okay? You will, anybody that says never, always, 100%, you got to be careful. Of course, girls get caught. Not every, I caught my ex cheating on me. This was like 15 years ago before I learned game and got insanely good with women. So there's smart women, there's retarded women. Women cheat. Some are really sloppy. Some get caught. It just depends, right? You got to see game as a spread of data, okay? You should never look at game as, oh, women are one thing. Women is a fucking normal distribution curve, okay? This is why you want to listen to dating advice. Sorry, I didn't get much sleep. This is why you want to get dating advice from guys that can give you like statistics, right? When you have guys give you generalized information, you just get red pill retard mode, okay? You got to understand the nuances in dating, right? The whole point of dating is not women are like this, right? It's more about this woman in front of me is like this, but this other woman over here is like this. This girl from Guadalajara is like that. You know what I mean? This girl that I met at Berkeley at the undergraduate library, she's like this, okay? You don't want to make broad generalizations of women, okay? Out of the 20,000 approaches I've done, no woman is unique. Everybody's their own data point, right? And I'm an exception. Dating is an exception. If you're pulling the exception, right? I'm a 6 foot tall, 200-pound jack Asian dude who fucking quit engineering. I'm an exception, right? So the whole point of dating is not to date the average woman or to know what the average female characteristic is like. The whole point is to identify the top 3% that you're dating.
Never find out. Okay, so that's point number one. Point number two, which might be controversial. Okay, most women do not really primarily care about money. Okay, there's this idea online that guys like to say that women care about money, and as long as you have money, as long as you have a good wallet, that's all that matters. Guys, the worst thing that you can do in a nightclub is offer a woman a drink, buy her a bottle, okay, and throw money at her. You do not want to lead with your fucking wallet, okay? Guys, I would see this all the time in the nightclubs, man. A guy would invite a woman to her section, order some bottles. The woman would never leave with the guy, okay? The woman would
never. No woman ever left a guy with a bottle? Really? You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful with that, obviously. Like, dude, I see dudes at tables pull all the time. I have friends who have tables pull all the time, okay? So what he's saying is very it's just not true, right? You got to understand, your game is your game and your bottle is your bottle. Your table is your table, right? You should always look at the table is just a fucking tool, right? It's kind of like, just because you buy a protein shake doesn't mean you're going to win Mr. Olympia, right? Just because you have a better computer doesn't mean you're going to win a video game champion. Doesn't mean you're going to win some Dota champion, right? They're just tools. It just gives you upper hand, right? So if you have a better tool and you still fuck up, then maybe work on your game. But what he said at the beginning, where he says women don't care about money, different women care about different things, okay? I'm going to profile this guy. He probably works at a Latin club, right? So most Latinas probably don't care about money that much, but, you know, he's not hanging out with crypto ballers. He's not fucking with different tiers of girls, right? So he's seeing what he sees, right? So you got to understand, dating is super broad. What country are you at? Now, let me just share with you this, right? So this is where I have dated, by the way. There's a lot of data points, okay? I might be more Mexican than this guy. So I've dated in what? Guadalajara, Mexico City, Jalisco, Yucatan, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, you know, Medellin, Bogota, Cali. I've been to Peru, dated in Chile, Sao Paulo, Florianopolis, Rio. So yeah, been to like probably 10 different countries in Latin America. So dating is very specific. So depending on where you meet girls, you're going to have very different experiences. And this is something you got to think about, right? Your race matters. Okay. Your race itself filters the types of women, right? So if I and a black guy go to another country, we're going to get different types of girls and we're going to have different types of experiences. Okay. So, if you work in a nightclub, you're going to have if that's all you do is night game, right? You're going to have a different perception versus a guy who does night game and fucking day game and fucking online dating and has been to Asia and Latin America and Europe and, you know, West Coast and East Coast. Okay. So whatever you, this is why you have to diversify your environment. This is why you can't learn on the internet. This is why you can't just stay in one area, right? This is why I made sure my friends weren't just nerdy Asian guys. I hung out with black dudes. I hung out with Hispanics. I went out to Belasco in LA when it's all like Latinas, right?
Never leave with the guy. She would take him as a simp, okay? Because when women see that kind of behavior, they see that you're pandering to them. They see that you're catering to them. They see that you're being needy. You're trying to flex your wallet, okay? You're trying to grab her attention with your money, and that shows low value, okay? So when you offer a woman a drink, when men leave with their wallet, that's actually a turnoff for women, and women are going to actually take your money, drink the liquor, and then they're going to go fuck the guy who actually looks good or the guy that they actually like, because just that behavior alone of you trying to cater to her by spending money, she's going to take you as a simp-ass motherfucker guaranteed.
Okay. So I agree that you shouldn't lead with money. Okay. I almost never get tables, but I have a lot of I'm kind of like a cheap Asian guy. But I have baller crypto friends where they only get tables and they also get laid. But here's what you got to understand, right? Going back to probability and distribution, right? What happens when you get a table? You have access, right? What are the benefits of having a table? Well, for example, if you go to a club in Vegas, okay, what they do is they interlock all the tables together, right? So you're at the club, all the tables are fucking chain linked together, okay? And all the hottest girls are fucking in the tables, right? So obviously I teach guys how to cold approach, but if you don't have a table, you're kind of like stuck on the outside. You're like in the area of you're not the cool kids, right? And so just having a table alone, you have more probability of bumping into a hot girl. You gotta understand, you gotta see girls as fucking like molecules. Okay. This is like, let me go back to chemistry 101. This is like stoichiometry. This is like PV equals nRT type shit, right? So if you get a table, there's a higher probability of you bumping into hotter girls. So if all skill equal, having a table is gonna, you're gonna have better pickings. And also another key thing of having tables is you can keep the friends fucking occupied there, right? So sometimes if you're just out in the corner in the middle of nowhere in the club and you're talking to a girl, she likes you, okay? What about her friend, right? Unless you have really good group management skills, the friend could be fucking bored, or you got to find some random guy to wing you. If you have a table, you can just bring them both to the table, and then the friend can fucking just drink and sit down and do her own thing. And then now the friend feels safe. You have a table. You can take your girl and you can re-isolate, right? So you can't just say, oh, guys that get tables don't get girls. A lot of them do and some don't, right? Obviously, I've pulled girls from tables and the guys, and a lot of guys do go home empty. But again, it's just a tool.
That's all this all the time. And I made this mistake myself. I tried this hundreds of times. I would go out by myself and I would open an interaction offering the woman a drink versus opening the interaction in a different way, like I'm going to talk about. Okay. And every time I would open the interaction offering a woman a drink, she would just drink my shit and be like, yo, this guy's fucking stupid. He's trying to like please me. He needs me. Because that's coming across needy, which is a huge mistake. Okay. So women don't primarily like money. And I'm going to tell you guys a story. The owner of the club that I used to work at, he was a guy who was always dripped out in Dior, Gucci. He had chains on and everything. Anytime you would see a beautiful chick coming inside the club, this guy would literally buy her a bottle, give her a champagne bottle, bring her to his section. The women, you know what they would do? They would literally wait till he would go to the bathroom and they would come up to me and give me their number or look at me hella fucking sexual and literally like touch and feel up on me.
Dude, that's the job of the owner. The owner isn't trying to fuck every girl. So like, this doesn't make sense. Okay. This is the build order for every club, dude. Whether it's in Vegas, $100 million club, the owner isn't trying to fuck the girls, dude. That's the owner's job. Think about it. The owner's job is to make the girls fucking happy so they come here more. The hot girls bring the guys, right? They bring the clientele. If guys see attractive girls in the club, they're going to be more likely to buy tables and spend money. Like he thinks the owner's trying to fuck the girl. That's not what he's trying to do. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to create an environment where girls want to like keep coming back. It's the same reason, dude. You go to a Vegas club, like girls get free drinks, they get drink tickets, they get on the guest list. So that didn't make any sense. That was kind of weird.
I was working as a bouncer. Literally, that happened so many times to the point where I even ended up getting fired from the club, guys, because every woman that the guy liked, for some reason, that woman would come up to me, right? Because I'm sexy, you know what I'm saying? I look like a Spanish Drake, They would come up to me and they would reject him completely. Mind you, he was buying them bottles. They knew he had money. They knew he was the owner, but that wasn't enough to get the women actually interested in him. Therefore, the idea that women really care about money and that's what they're primarily interested in is fucking bullshit. They'll use men for their resources and then they'll fuck the guys who they actually want.
Look, dude. Once you have enough game, once you're the owner of a fucking club, you got to understand you're going to meet more girls than you have time to deal with, right? So, for example, if you haven't watched my video, I've approached 100 girls in one day, right? You talk to 100 girls, you get 60, 70 numbers. What are you going to do with 70 numbers? I'm not going to go on 70 dates in one day. You know what I'm saying? So, as a man, if you're high enough status, or if you're the owner of a club, if you have access to enough women, you don't have enough time in the day to like date everybody. It's just not the case. So of course, like the owner, the girl is gonna say hi to the promoter, the host, and then she's gonna go meet her friends and talk to other dudes. That doesn't make any sense.
Fuck, and they act.
How do you close without a table? It's pretty easy. What do you mean? How do you close without a table? You just approach them while they're walking around, right? You go to the dance floor, you approach them while they're in the bathroom. A lot of girls are just sitting around, right? So depending on what clubs you go to, right? This is why it's really important to like scout out the clubs, right? You want clubs that have a lot of different rooms. You know, you want clubs where there's extra seats. Some clubs, all tables, right? Like if you don't have a table, you're fucked. You're standing in the corner. But you know, some clubs aren't trying to extract as much money out of you as possible. Like there's a club in Vegas where there's an outdoor patio. There's all these trees and bushes, and around these trees are places you can sit down, right? So these are all good places where you can game girls, not get a table. I almost never get tables. I'll get it here and there if I'm in Latin America, but yeah, you just stand like a normal person.
Actually like, okay? So that's the second thing that I learned about women. Point number 3 is women get turned on and they actually like it when they see you talking and macking on other women. And this is true even if you're in a relationship, because jealousy is a sexual turn on for women. If you make a woman jealous, okay, she's actually going to be even more attracted to you. Let's say you're in a relationship with
Okay. There's some truths in that, but I've also seen a lot of guys fuck this shit up, dude. I had a client, he this is literally in the middle of a program. I had a client, Indian dude, by the way, long-term client, right? He scheduled a fucking date, right? We were having group dinner. He scheduled a date with a Filipino girl for tomorrow, right? And this dumbass was like, "Oh, I need pre-selection. I need to post more pictures of me with women." Okay. And yeah, he fucking pissed off the girl. The girl saw that he was at a dinner with another, you know, it was like he didn't even show the girl. He just showed the girl's hands. Some girls get extremely jealous. So this is a very nuanced term. And I would say you're more likely to fuck this up than have it benefit you. And I know some guys that teach social circle things. They want to say that, oh, social proof is everything. Yeah, if you're in that industry, if you're just chasing a certain type of girl that just cares about like status and social proof and all that, but a regular girl, right? If you're a fucking software engineer and you're just trying to date a normal, wholesome, regular girl that works at the library or accounting, she's not gonna be impressed that you're, you know, you got 10 girls with you at a table at XS in Vegas. So for most of the time, doing too much pre-selection, or if you're a newbie, will fuck up your sets more, will piss off girls more. Yeah, if you're in nightlife, if you're a promoter, if you're running events, of course, yeah, you want as much pre-selection as possible because that's actually your life, right? I had a guy who was a data scientist who was running all this like charity events. He would just get regular girls in Nebraska. I'm like, dude, why are you going to Miami doing these fucking, you know, model photo, bikini photo shoots? Your day-to-day life, you're in Omaha, Nebraska as a data scientist. You're meeting girls in Omaha. They will probably get scared with all your bikini photo shoots. Just calm down. So yeah, there's nothing worse than a guy who gets no bitches that acts like he gets bitches and then he fucks up the pre-selection and pisses off the barely any girls he's already getting.
Chick, okay? I'm gonna tell you guys a story. I was in a relationship with this chick, 2 separate stories. One of them we had broken up with. I really liked this chick, but she was doing some sneaky shit behind my back. I really liked her. She was doing some sneaky shit. So I was like, you know what, fuck this chick. 3 days later, she pulls up to the club that I work at, okay? Now, mind you, there's a chick present at the club that I had been talking to for a couple of days, right? So what ended up happening was I ended up making out with that chick, okay? And next thing you know, as I'm making out with that chick, my ex, who I literally broke up 3 days ago with, literally walks by us both, okay? And in my head, I'm like, holy fuck. Now she's going to think I was cheating on her this whole time. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of cared about her. So I was also thinking like, oh, she's going to talk so much shit about me. Like she's going to hate me, right? Guys, you know what happened? When I went home that night, after I got off the clock, my ex was blowing up my fucking phone. 20 missed calls, back to back to back to back. And guess what? I ended up laying pipe that same night. You guys know why? Because when she saw that I was getting other women, when she saw that I was literally making out with different women, it made her jealous. And that actually turned her on. She got turned on by that.
Well, okay, sure, that can work, but you've already established she's doing sneaky shit behind your back, so you should just break up with her and not trying to get back together? What was the whole point, right? If she's already established that she's not a quality girl, just fucking, there's no point in getting her back.
That shit. Okay. Another story. There was another chick that I was talking to at the time. We had a fallout. We had an argument. She pulled up to the club a week later. I knew she was in there, right? And you guys know what I did? I pulled a different woman from the dance floor as I was working, and I started to grind up on her, and I started to feel on her, so that chick could see that. And guess what? In my head, I was like, damn, this chick's gonna be mad. She's never gonna want to talk to me again. Again, same story. As soon as I went home that night, she was blowing up my phone. She wanted to talk to me. She was mad, but she was jealous. And next thing you know, I'm laying down pipe again. So bottom line, guys, women love when they know that you can get other women.
Fucking a girl that you already fucked is not okay. Good job. It's like, wow, my wife, I made her jealous, and then I fucked her real good tonight. It's like, dude, she's your wife. She's your ex-girlfriend.
Makes them, it turns them on. You're going to be way more attractive to them. And if you're in a relationship, jealousy is actually a sexual currency. If you can make your woman jealous, she might not like it, and you might think it's not a good idea, but it's actually going to make her
these Latinas
even more. Okay, subconsciously, they'll never admit this shit, but you'll actually realize you'll have the best sex ever with her, and she's going to start to treat you way better when she sees that you have other options, and she sees that you're macking on other women.
Maybe not a good idea to get Latinas jealous.
Are fucking 90% of the women. Okay, guys, the majority of guys, they're invisible. They get overlooked. They never get a DM from a woman. They never get a woman coming up to them. They don't even have sex. Okay, one thing that I realized when I was working as a bouncer and even clubbing myself is that the top 10% of dudes are fucking 90% of the chicks. Okay, and there were two distinct things that made me realize this. Number one, I used to have a group of friends, right, that they used to be fit and they used to look good, and we used to kind of go out clubbing here and there. Okay, what I realized was that we were like talking to the majority of the hottest chicks in the whole city. Okay, you know what I'm saying? We were talking to the majority of the hot chicks in that whole city. You know what I'm saying? When we would have one of our gym partners or one of our coworkers start talking about this girl, how he likes her, we already had that girl in our DMs. I would be like holding it to myself quietly in my head, thinking like, yo, this guy's stupid. Like, we already laid pipe on her, right? So essentially, like, the girls that you guys are like bending over backwards for, and you guys are like fucking being needy as fuck with, she's literally throwing her pussy at the top 10% of dudes. Because the truth is, women are hypergamous. Women like the best men that they can get. Okay, I want you guys to understand it. Women like the best possible option that they can get. This is like an evolutionary desire to secure security for her offspring and for her well-being, right? So when women have a fucking 9 or a 10 guy who's coming up to her, she's gonna give him his number and she's gonna fuck him, because women like the best option they can get. So the top 10% of dudes are literally fucking 90% of the women. And that also made me realize, like, yo, this bending over backwards for women, or this needy shit, or buying.
Okay, there's truth in that, right? Obviously, there's truth in that, but not every girl is trying to fuck the richest guy or the tallest guy that exists. I mean, there are girls dating short guys. There are girls dating broke dudes. There are homeless guys with girlfriends, right? So not every girl is a gold digging guy trying to date Chads. Not every girl is trying to fuck Larry Wheels, right? It's not always the case, man. You can't just see it. You can't. You want to be smart enough to see how the world is, but you don't want to be like, oh, everything is just gloom and doom and every girl's just gonna upgrade you for another guy. You can't like think like that. It's gonna fuck you up. And also, if you just work in a club, of course you're gonna see the worst in girls, right? Of course you're gonna see who gets pulled. And that's the thing. Like, this is why you should be going to clubs. You should be seeing the worst in some women, right? Like, that's what I appreciate about life. I met really high quality girls. I met extremely wholesome girls, and I met extremely toxic girls. The whole point of the learning phase, when you're starting out and you're meeting girls, you want to interact with everybody. Okay. You want to interact with girls with tattoos, that have daddy issues, that fucking cheat on boyfriends. And you want to interact with girls that go to church and are virgins and don't even drink and just focus on academics. And you see everything in between. And you're that guy that can profile each one, right? And that's the whole point. This is why I tell guys, do day game and do night game. Go to different countries, right? Meet girls in different environments, because you're going to have more of a balanced approach.
Bitches, flowers, and doing all this shit. I'm not doing that. I'm not fucking doing that, because these chicks are literally throwing their pussy, giving their pussy away, and they're trying to make me beg for pussy. Hell no. Okay. And guys, when I got in shape, like I'm going to talk about later, that's when I really realized, holy shit, I have access to 90% of the women, because I'm the top 10% of dudes. So bottom line, don't bend over backwards for chicks. These chicks are throwing their pussies for somebody else, and they're making you beg for their pussy. Point number 5. women like a guy who can dance. Okay, now this can be kind of gay to some people, but I don't give a fuck. And this is especially true if you like Latin women. If you're a Latina
That's
sniper
true.
like I was, right? So shout out to the big booty Latinas.
That's true. I never got good at dancing. I wish I did. I think maybe if I have more time, but I don't think you need it. It definitely helps.
If you like Latin women, the fucking way, you know what I'm saying? Proceed with caution because they come with a lot, but you're gonna want to learn how to dance. Okay, we're talking about gonna like massively increase your chances with because you passed the first shit test. So understanding eye contact and understanding how to maintain eye contact and not break away first is actually huge when it comes to actually building an interaction with women. That's the first interaction. It happens before you.
Yeah, I mean, eye contact's important, but like it's not really that hard to master. I mean, just it's not really a hard topic. I don't feel like people need to keep talking about eye contact in 2026. It's like
repel. She's gonna try to repel you, okay? Because you're looking like way too serious, and women are gonna be defensive against that. Whereas if you are in the social setting of a club, you're gonna want to showcase a couple smiles. Maybe you want to crack a joke with your friend. You want to crack a joke with the bartender. Show some lightness and some light energy, and that's actually gonna increase the amount of women that come up to you. And not only that, but when you do approach a woman, she's gonna be like, oh, okay, this guy he just wants to have fun.
I agree.
Like
Don't be so serious.
He's like not too serious. He's not gonna fucking.
You don't want to be too serious.
Right? So that's gonna make her lose interest. So guys, don't approach a woman asking her questions like, "Oh, like how are you doing today?" Or like, don't approach a woman asking questions. More so making statements or making assumptions.
I agree.
Right? Let's just go over here because it's a little loud, right? You're having that confidence, masculine energy and aura in the conversation. So there's several ways to do this. But bottom line, at one point or another, you need to establish masculine dominance within the interaction because if you don't, the woman is not gonna want to essentially have sex with you. Okay, if we're being honest. All right. Point number 12, and this might be offensive to some people, but I don't give a shit, okay? Women don't like fat guys, okay? I cannot stress this enough, guys. When I was working as a bouncer, I used to weigh 200.
Well, you know what? I think of all the girls, I feel like Latinas are the most forgiving when it comes to fat guys. When I have clients that I really want some results with, I have them approach Latinas and I have them approach Filipino women because they're just the nicest. I feel like a Latina woman will give everybody a chance. You could be fat. You could be, obviously don't get fat. What I'm just saying is I actually feel like Latinas are the most tolerant women out there. Asians are probably the worst. Asians, if you don't look their type, they're just going to say fuck off most of the time.
50 pounds. Okay. When I started getting lean and I got down to 195 pounds, I'm 6'2", bro. I got 10 times the amount of choosing signals. Women were fucking looking. Your world is going to turn upside down. And for those guys that don't know,
I've never been fat in my life, so I don't know what it's like playing on hard mode. Maybe I should gain 100 pounds just to get fat, just to see how hard it would be as a science experiment.
Night at one point or another, you're going to have to escalate physical contact, whether at the club or in the car. Okay. Now, this is an obvious point for legal reasons, right? You don't want to invite a woman home, get a woman home without being sure that she actually wants to be there. Okay. So that's bottom line. But you want to make sure that you escalate physical contact either at the club or in the car. The point is, the woman is waiting for you to take initiative. And a lot of times, guys lack confidence to actually escalate things. But guys, if you notice that the woman has interest in you, which we're going to talk about later.
Yeah, as a whole, you want to ramp up the escalation, sure, build up compliance. But I pulled many girls where I've never touched the girl at all. Like I didn't even shake her hand, and I end up closing. So when you get good, you can actually break a lot of rules. You don't need to escalate that much. I don't, right? Because I already, when you get good at screening, when you get good at like reading the girls, you don't have to do a lot of these things, right? It's kind of like when guys say you shouldn't take a girl to dinner. That's all I do. I only do dinner dates now, right? Just because I like eating, it's like $50, not even that expensive. If you have like a 90% close rate, why wouldn't you do dinner? Right now I just do dinner and I just go straight back to my place.
It's up to you to escalate physical contact. And this can be done in several ways. One of the best ways to do it, like I already talked about, lean into her ear as you're speaking to her. Or another, either at the club or in the car before you bring her to the house. Point number 14 is judging a woman's interest is important. Okay. When you're at the club, especially because of the last point that I just made. Okay. You don't want to be making advances or escalating things if she's not showing any indicators of interest or any choosing signals, like they call it. Okay. Some of the common choosing signals are if the woman is asking you multiple questions. If she's asking you about your name, if she's asking you about where you work, if she's asking you how old you are, this is a really big one. If she's asking you how old you are, she's highly interested. Okay. So if she's playing with her hair, if she's getting nervous,
Sometimes if they ask how old you are, it means they think you're too old or too young. It's usually not good.
She asks you if you have a girlfriend. I mean, that's the biggest indicator of interest. I mean, that one right there is, I mean, obvious, right? But bottom line is, asserting whether or not a woman is interested in you is actually quite important. And the most obvious ones are she's asking you questions, okay? She's getting nervous, or she's playing with her hair, okay? If she's doing any of those things, then that's going to give you the green light as far as doing what I talked about previously, which was escalating physical contact, okay? But you guys don't want to just escalate.
All right. So I have a lot to talk about this. If you're a beginner, nobody's interested in you. So you don't want to do that. If you're learning game, do not focus on choosy signals. Do not look for IOIs. Do not fucking stand around all day looking for girls, hoping that they're gonna like give you the wink. That's not gonna happen, dude. If you're a regular ass guy, you're gonna be standing around a lot. Even for me, like I don't get that many choosy signals. If I were just to stand around in the club, I'm gonna be waiting around forever. Okay. When you're learning this, you absolutely should not be looking for anything. You should just approach them from behind like a fucking missile. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you some examples. Hold on one sec. Let me I'll give you an example of that's how you. Let me pull up this. Okay, so I want you to look at these fucking 3-hour videos,
you guys
man.
decide to stay a couple of family oriented. The Spectre Cat. I don't know makeup.
Oh, really?
I know Instagram. In case you guys decide to stay a couple extra days. Excuse me.
Okay, I just run up to them, right? This girl has no idea that I'm approaching. Nobody's looking at me. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't know I exist.
Hey, I know this is random.
Like, she's like, who the fuck is this Asian guy out of nowhere? I'm not looking for choosy signals. She was like, huh?
But I love your boots. You remind me of my favorite anime cop.
Oh, really?
Chinese.
Who?
It's like a cat. The Spectre Cat. I don't know how to say it in English.
No, I love
yeah,
that.
very blue eyes.
She didn't give me choosy signals, right? This black girl didn't fucking give me choosy signals.
Okay. That's in Chiang Mai.
Okay.
I'll see you later. I will.
Okay, next set. Watch. You think this black chick is giving me choosy signals? You think she's got an eye on the back of her head?
Excuse me. I know this is random, but I thought
She's like, who the fuck is this guy?
you're really cute. Come say hi. You look like you're from Dallas or Chicago. Where are you from?
Korea.
What?
I'm from North Korea.
This girl is like trolling me. She's saying she's from fucking North Korea. She's not giving me choosy signals. You know what I'm saying?
Conversation. You're giving me all this.
And then like 5 minutes later, she's like, can you take me out? You see what I'm saying? You don't fucking need choosy signals.
Really?
Okay, look, you see this girl right here?
Excuse me.
This girl in the black?
Hey. I know this is
I had no idea I existed. You don't need choosy signals.
random, but I thought
None of these girls know I exist. And that's the whole point of pickup. All right. If you're only picking girls that are like, I fucking you, that's fucking easy mode, dude. All right, hold on one sec. Let me who's got questions and comments? All right, here we go.
Physical contact without any indicators of interest. If you guys aren't experienced, you guys might not even notice the choosing signal. So if you're new to this shit, then I would recommend you just take the lead and just take the leap of faith, just like I used to do. I used to take the leap of faith, then I started to realize, oh, she was interested in me, or oh, she wasn't. Okay, but bottom line, try to look for those choosing signals before you make any advances or escalate things any further. The point number 15 is one of the best ways and the easiest and the biggest way to dunk the basketball and close the deal that same night, okay, is assert yourself in a dominant and masculine way, in a unique way. Okay, so let me tell you guys a story. One of the things that I would do, if I was at a table with a group of friends and there was a girl or two there that I didn't know, or maybe I invited a girl over to my section, I would first observe her, right? If she wasn't paying too much attention to me, let's say she was on her phone, right? Which in 2026 this is quite common. The girl's on her phone all the time. Maybe you've said hi to her one time, or maybe you haven't, but she sees that you're there and she's smiling, or she's just there. Okay. One thing that I would do is I would actually just grab her phone, put it in my back pocket, and I would grab her hand and pull her out to the dance floor. All right. So point number 15 is one of the best ways to close the deal and get her home that same night is to actually dunk the basketball by asserting yourself in a dominant and unique way. I'm giving you guys 2 examples of what this looks like. Okay. So one thing that I would commonly do is if there was a girl in my vicinity, let's say she was at the same table, the same section, or she was part of the group.
I thought he doesn't get tables. What's going on? He's getting tables now. I invited
a girl over to where I was sitting at or where I was at. One thing that I would do is I would observe them. Okay. I would see, is she a normal chick? Is she happy? Is she serious? Is she pissed off? Okay. But most oftentimes girls are on their phones. Okay. So what I would do is I would observe a girl who's in my section. Maybe I said hi to her. Maybe I didn't. Maybe she gave me eye contact, right? So I would observe her. And if she was on her phone, that's essentially a shit test. Okay. When you're in a group of friends or a woman is next to you or she's in the same table as you and she's on her phone the whole time, she's essentially like ignoring you. Okay. So what I would do
look, dude,
to assert my dominance is I would literally like reach over, grab her phone, put it in my back pocket.
Okay, that's a little it's going from like 0 to 100. Listen, guys, I think it's just easier if you just talk to her, right? You're like, well, I observed her. How much can you observe by looking at a girl? You can observe some stuff, right? But when the second her mouth starts moving, you're going to know a lot more stuff out of her. So I think going from not saying anything to literally taking her fucking phone, putting it in your back pocket, and then pulling her out of the table, I think there's a lot of in-between things that you could have done, you know? Yeah, like just open. It's just easier. It's like you're less likely to have weird shit happen. Like if you take a girl's phone from her hands, there is the potential for for her to get really pissed off. You know what I mean?
And then grab her.
And also, girls that are sending a lot of choosy signals are probably not the ones that you want to date long term, anyways, right? Think about it. Like you don't want a thirsty girl in the club giving every guy choosy signals. Like you want like when you're good with game, you want girls that aren't sending choosy signals. You know what I'm saying? Like in Vegas, there's a variety of different types of women. Some girls go there all the time. They get fucked up and they get pulled all the time, right? Some girls are just there to fuck with rich guys. Some girls never go to clubs and they're only there because they're there for a business conference. They're not giving choosy signals. They're just there with their coworkers or their boss. They have like some tech conference and they're just there because it's a company networking event. You want a girl that's not sending choosy signals. When you're good enough, think about it. When you're good enough, when you can approach girls that aren't giving you the thirst look, that means other guys can't do that. I love approaching girls that's not giving anything to anybody. So if you're looking for I'm telling you, dude, if you're doing what this guy is doing, you're standing there waiting all day if you're not an attractive guy, or B, you're just playing on fucking easy mode and you're only pulling girls that are low-hanging fruits, and they probably are easy to get pulled and they've been pulled by other guys.
Hand and walk her out to the dance floor. And guys, think about this. Number one, you're standing out in a very unique way above everybody else because no guy has the balls to do that. Everybody's a pussy. They lack confidence. So that's number one. You're distinguishing yourself from the rest of the guys. Number two, you're asserting yourself as a masculine and dominant guy who can accept contact a couple times over. And I identified that was a choosing signal. What I would do is I would literally just start grinding up on her essentially without asking for permission. Now, this is a very tricky move because if you judge the energy wrong, you essentially could have a lawsuit. Okay. But essentially what I would do is judge her interest. If she's shown me some eye contact and I know that she's interested, I would essentially just start grinding up on her and like put her head down and ass up everything and just start grinding on her. And making a move like that is, again, most guys don't do that. They lack confidence. You're setting yourself up in a unique way, but you're asserting your dominance, okay? And you're not going to have to talk too much. You're not going to have to beg. You're not going to have to fucking get her number and then text her later. Right then and there, when the iron is hot, that same night, you're going to be able to close the deal because you're asserting yourself in a massive, unique, and dominant way. Just leave the interaction just like that, okay? What that's going to do is that's going to actually pique her interest because most guys are going to be thirsty and needy and they're going to ask her for her number. Meanwhile, you didn't actually do that. You just let the interaction die. So that's going to think in her head like, oh shit, like who's this guy? Like, does he like me or does he not? And that's going to signal to her that you're higher value, okay? And that's going to set yourself up for success for the second time that you dance, right? So never ask a woman's number after the first time that you dance. Don't do that because I guarantee you, bro, if you do that 95% of the times, women are going to tell you no. Okay, you don't want to do that. You actually want to position yourself as higher value by not asking her for her number only up until the second or third time that you interact. Point number 17 is if you want women to approach you, you're gonna have to prioritize your physique. Okay, guys, your physique is the first thing that women judge. It's the first that.
Speaking of pulling, me and my client, we ended up pulling on boot camp 2 days ago.
They fucking see the way that you look. If you have tits and you have a belly, fucking lean. There's just no way around it. You're gonna be at a massive disadvantage. And watching this video, should get a haircut every 2 weeks. Because when I would go out,
Yeah, most of this is pretty sound advice. Okay, so that's it for this video. I'm not gonna watch through everything, but I think yeah, most of his advice is very sound. But I do think that the difference between a regular guy giving you dating advice versus a dating coach is just the nuances, right? A regular guy has limited perceptions of dating from a narrower scope, right? He's dealt with mostly Latinas in a nightclub in a specific city, versus if you work with a dating coach, he's not only going to give you references for his own personal data points, but also data points for an Asian guy, an Indian guy, a white guy, a black guy. So all things matter. So you want to make sure that if you're getting dating advice, you want to make sure you're working with somebody that has a lot of different data points. They can triangulate, right? So be careful when people are giving you like, women are like this, all girls hate that, this is the only thing you need to know, jealous, you know, like all women like jealousy. You don't ever want to do that, right? Every girl has her own set of stats. You know, some girls care about intelligence more. Some girls like the aggressive dominance shit. Some girls fucking hate it, right? You try to grind certain girls and you put her face down. I mean, I've done plenty of that, but not every girl is going to like that, right? So that's the whole point. Like the whole point of game is calibration. That's probably the most important word in game, right? What is calibration? Doing the right thing at the right time to the right girl at the right pace, right? And that comes from experience and knowledge, right? What works on one girl can completely backfire on another girl, right? Like I've made jokes on one girl. Some girls, they love it, right? A confident girl is going to take a joke a certain way. An insecure girl is going to take a joke a different way. A fobby Asian girl, the joke's just going to fly right over her head. So, yeah, every set's going to be different, and you got to treat every interaction as case by case. So, cool, guys. Let's see what else. I am going to be flying back to Vegas soon. I got a couple of boot camps lined up, right? For those of you who are new, I've been teaching dating for 12, 13 years now. And right now I'm in a place where I go to Asia 2 months, then I go to Vegas for 2 months. I personally like the day game in Southeast Asia, and I like night game more in Vegas. So if you guys have any questions, if you have specific dating questions, I'm running off of like 3 hours of sleep, so I'm a little bit like out there. If you have any dating questions, schedule a one-on-one with me. Go to stemtostud.com, fill out the type form, list out the questions you have. It's going to send you a link to a Zoom calendar call. And then we'll spend like 30 minutes deep diving any dating related questions. Now, these live streams are fun, but if you really want to get your dating handled, it has to be specific to you, right? Like talking about what some Mexican guys encountering might be entertaining, but it's not relevant to your exact dating situation. So if you have questions on like, oh, your cold approach, you have questions for your online dating, you have questions about girls you're trying to set up dates with, if you have questions on the long-term trajectory, like where you should focus on in life, is it money, is it looks, is it game? If you have questions on like where you should move to, stemtostud.com and schedule a call. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.